Are you ready, Storytime viewers? Charlie's here, and he's hit it big. Welcome, Charlie. Charlie is my pet. Let's take a look at Charlie. Look, he's not a hamster. He's not a mouse. He's not a gerbil. He's a guinea pig, and he's adorable. Let's get ready for our book. Our book today is Charlie Hits It Big. The author's name is Deborah Blumenthal. The illustrator's name is Denise Bunkus. Now, we know that the author is the person who writes the words, and we know that the illustrator is the person who draws the pictures. If you look at the cover of this book, it gives you clues about the story. So let's see. I see stars. I see the guinea pig, Charlie, holding sunglasses. Look at the top of the book. I see like spotlights. And then I see a suitcase. What is that guinea pig up to? Look, there he is. He's packing his suitcase. I wonder where he's planning to go. I'm dressed up in a very unusual outfit. I have a beret as a hat, glasses, a mustache. I have a red hanky or scarf, and I am one of the characters in this book. So follow along and let me know when you see a character that looks like this. When Sophia woke up and went to feed her guinea pig, she was in for a big surprise. Charlie wasn't there. Look at her face. She's so upset. Everyone ran around the house shouting, "Charlie! Charlie! Charlie!" Nothing, not a squeal, not a squeak, nothing but a note. Look, who's that lady in the middle? She's got curlers in her hair. Maybe that's their mom. And I see the note right next to the cage. I wonder what it says. The family looked at one another. Off to the coast for an adventure. Later, Charlie. The coast? What does he mean by the coast? Then Annie looked into Charlie's cage. It's a clue, Annie shouted, a clue. There's a piece of paper that says, pigging out. Pigs big in Hollywood. Where's Hollywood? Who lives in Hollywood? I think the movie stars live in Hollywood, don't you? Meanwhile, up in the clouds, a 747 was preparing to descend to Los Angeles, California. A 747? What's that? I think it's a jet. And they said descend. Does that mean to go up or to go down? It means to go down. On board, munching a vegetarian lunch, was Charlie. Look at him sitting there. And he's propped himself up on 3 pillows. Well, I wonder why he's doing that. Let's think about that. Maybe so he can reach his vegetable and fruit tray. Maybe he might want to look out the window. Don't you like to look out the window when you're on an airplane? Or maybe his seatbelt fits a little better when he has 3 pillows underneath him. Will there be anything else? The flight attendant asked him. Got any carrot juice? Tomato, the flight attendant said. Tomato then, Charlie said. On the rocks, baby. That is so funny. What do you think he means when he says, on the rocks, baby? Maybe he means he wants ice in his glass. And look at the way he's sitting. He's got his tongue out and glasses on. I think he wants to be a movie star. Do you think he wants to be a movie star? At the airport, Charlie got into a taxi. Where to? Says the taxi driver. Hollywood, says Charlie, as he's rubbing his paws together. After checking into a hotel, Charlie boarded a tour bus. It says Hollywood, but when they got to a movie studio, Charlie crept away from the group and followed a sign that said, casting. Casting means that he might be auditioning for a play or a part in a movie? Let's find out. After waiting on a long line, Charlie was given a paper with words to read, like a script. For the part in the movie, Charlie had to pretend that he was a man with a broken heart. With his eyes filled with tears, Charlie stared at the camera. He dropped to his knees and he pounded his paw against his heart. And he cried, "Find room in your heart to love a beast like me again, and I'll make you the happiest woman alive." "Cut!" said a man wearing a beret. "Uh-oh, I'm wearing a beret." "Come back tomorrow," he said, "but lose the tan fur. We're looking for dark and handsome." "No problemo," Charlie said. Do you see someone that looks like me?" The next day, a dark and handsome Charlie came back with a beautiful actress by his side. He said his lines again. "Find room in your heart to love a beast like me again, and I'll make you the happiest woman alive." What did Charlie do to his hair? He was yellow or blonde. Now he's dark and handsome, just like the director asked him to be. Maybe he dyed his fur dark. "Cut!" shouted the director. "You got the part. You're going to be big," he said. B-I-G, big. On the way back to the hotel, Charlie bought a postcard to send home. This is what it says. "Dear Sophia, look for me on the big screen. What a life! Charlie." The big screen? What's the big screen mean? Maybe that means the television, the big screen television, or maybe it means at the movies, the theater. That night, the director was going to have a party for him. Charlie needed something special to wear. He walked into a fancy shop. "Can we help you, sir?" "Indeed," Charlie said. Minutes later, Charlie emerged from the dressing room. He admired himself in the mirror, and he strutted around in his fine new outfit, looking good. Look at that! Purple shoes, glasses, and cape. Now it was party time. There was a long buffet table with all kinds of good things to eat. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. Charlie's mouth was watering. Fruity Nut Buffet! Where was the Fruity Nut Buffet? It had to be there. It was a party for him. Charlie searched the table. Nothing. Not a sesame seed, not a pumpkin seed, not even a speck of dried food. Dried fruit? He settled for salad. Look at him at the bottom munching that lettuce. That's all he could find. Then he met lots of people. Darling, people called him. Mon amour. Did you know that's French for my love? Mon amour, said all the ladies. They hugged him. They winked at him. They blew him kisses in the air. And they pumped his paw up and down, up and down. But Charlie didn't even know them. He didn't know what to say. Look at him shaking everybody's hands. They're just making all over him. They think he's so adorable. Photographers snapped his picture over and over until he saw spots in front of his eyes. The room got so crowded that people were crushing him and stepping on his little feet. Charlie felt as if he couldn't breathe. Everyone loved him. He had new clothes and a tummy full of salad, and he was a big pig in Hollywood. So why did he feel afraid and lonelier than ever? Why? Do you think he's missing someone? He dropped to the floor and he crawled to the door. Look at him crawling. He wants to get away from all those people. He thought about Sophia and how they used to play together. He thought about how he used to sit on her lap while she fed him baby carrots and scratched his neck until he fell asleep. He thought about being home again in Sophia's room without any pushy people. and how he could not think of the pet food emporium opening in their town with ads that said, Fruity Nut Buffet, buy one, get one free. Charlie leaped up and ran back to his hotel. He packed up all his clothes. He went into the fancy bathroom and he took the almond soap, the coconut shampoo, and the shoe shine cloth. Then he went to the lobby. Taxi! He said, waving a paw. Hours later, he was back in his small hometown. When he got to his front door, he knocked and knocked, but nobody answered. I wonder why. Do you think they recognized him? Remember, he's not a blonde guinea pig anymore. He's dark and handsome. Finally, a light went on. Who is it? Said a voice from behind the door. It's me, said Charlie. Look at him jumping up. The door opened a crack. Sophia stared and stared. Charlie, is that you? She asked. But before he could answer, Sophia scooped up Charlie in her arms and she squeezed him. Charlie, Charlie, Sophia said, you came back. Yes, said Charlie, dropping his head on Sophia's soft shoulder. Look at that. Isn't that adorable, him laying on her shoulder like that? Charlie looked into Sophia's blue eyes, and then he looked at his cage. Leaning against him was a big sack of Fruity Nut Buffet with a great big red ribbon tied around it. Charlie smiled a big toothy grin. Find room in your heart to love a beast like me again, and I'll make you the happiest woman alive. What? Sophia said, looking at Charlie strangely. That's Hollywood talk, Charlie said. Just forget about it. And that's how the story ended. Charlie's back with Sophia. Wasn't that hilarious? There were so many parts of that book that made me laugh. Did they make you laugh too? How about this part? How about Hollywood? How about On the Rocks, baby? When your mom and dad prepare you dinner tonight and you have something with ice cubes or you want a drink with ice cubes, say to your mom and dad, I'd like to have my tea on the rocks, baby. There are some other special things I remember. How about that jet? Do you remember what they called that jet? It was a number. It was a 747. And do you remember what word they used for coming down? It's the word descend. Very good. You've done a great job listening today. And this story really made me laugh. And we've got more stories that are going to make you laugh. So invite your friends to story time. I can't wait to see you.